Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Greener Pastor Ministry International. I am your host, Minister Churainser's founder. And today is a good day. I had done a video before last week. The problem I had with the video was that I was trying to show our Greener Pastor Ministry t-shirts. Here's the first. We're bringing them into print. But I had it on and I was in my boxer. So I couldn't publish the video because it wasn't nice to see me all kept and not properly dressed. So I had to do over the video. And I was busy with classes and there were too many funerals to deal with. The last one was Friday. And they're close relatives, and then I have another relative funeral to go to as well. They're very close people to me. And there was a lot going on. But God has been good to me. And we're getting on the way. So today, I want to share some good news on what we're going on with Greener Pastor Ministries, that you would be a part of that. As you can see, I plan to get this put on a polo shirt to the back. This is the t-shirt. I wore this last Sunday. I visited the church. So when I'm visiting churches, I will be wearing the Greener Pastor Ministries shirt with logo. I want to get it on a white polo to the back, like this polo I have on here. We are also will be changing the background music for the entry logo. My son is working on and original music. One of the things about our YouTube channel is that we are using a instrumental I created using one of the Kings and Country song, and because of that we cannot be monetized. Monetized means that after a certain amount of views on the channel, then you will begin to accumulate some funds, and Greener Pastor Ministries will be getting paid by YouTube for having videos on YouTube. That's one of the ways we're looking to raise finances. Other thing they want to do is the camera I'm looking at, you want to upgrade it because this is not the original camera. I bought this in Florida last year because the one that I used for earlier videos that was damaged while in transit. We want to change the camera. We're going to change the background. We're going to use back the logo, but you may change how the entry is, and hopefully if I get things work out, I will be having some of these t-shirts done, and the first 50 I will be giving away probably by the end of September. We'll be giving away 50 t-shirts. So when I do have them in play, I will send you the information via our channel, and who will be interested will send me an email telling me you would like a t-shirt. If you are not in Barbados and you want me to send you a t-shirt, we will have to discuss postage and handling through the post office, but we will be getting Greener Pastor Ministries t-shirt. So now on to our presentation today. Now the video I was preparing the last time, I wanted to address some of the stuff that we are hearing pertaining to the Middle East and biblical prophecy. And I want to say this to people who are studying the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation talks about a deception that even the elect is to be deceived. And the problem I got is that people are being deceived in the church and they're not even knowing it. So we're going to start with some Bible passages, and I'm going to try to clear up the deception, and I'm going to talk about the Great Awakening and why I think that we need to stop with some of these things that we're doing in the church. I want to go to Acts chapter 2 first. Acts chapter 2. And I want to highlight a certain verse that And this verse, and this is what was spoken by the prophet Joel. And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith God, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see vision, and your old men shall keep dreams. The first thing I want to say is the last days is not the last day. You know, like for example, when you go to school, you have terms or semesters, and the last day of the term or the semester is called the last day of the term. The day before you go on vacation is your last day of work before vacation. That's not what the last days mean in the Bible. The last days in Joel and in Acts 2 is talking about a dispensation, a timeline, according to Marvel, which from the ascension of the church receiving Holy Spirit, Acts 2, until Christ's return, these things will happen. And a lot of things have been happening, and people in the church are making something out of nothing. You read in Genesis before the flood of homosexuality. You read in the time of Abraham with Job, you read about homosexuality. You read that the kingdoms of Israel were divided into two nations because of homosexuality. And in the days of Paul the Apostle, in Romans chapter 1, again, fornication, wickedness, covetous. I'm looking for hatred, dispute, boasters. It says here, for this cause God gave them over to veil affections. For every, even the women, did not change the nature use of which they that unto that which. Let me read it again. For this cause God gave them up to veil affections. For even the women did change the natural use into which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of a woman, burning in their lust one towards another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their errors which they mean. In other words, when men doing unseen things with men and women doing unseen things with women, it's talking about homosexuality. And that was about 10 to 50 years after Acts 2. So the world has a history of homosexuality. We grew up in Barbados and we knew about homosexuality. It was being kept private. So homosexual is nothing new. So then the last days and the coming thing, you are false prophesying and you are not speaking correctly when you try to make incidents that happen today seem as though biblical prophecy. And I spoke against a reverend called Reverend Haggai in the States, who, Pastor Haggai, who have been, from the time it was 16 till now, prophesying on more than one occasion, the third temple is to be rebuilt. But if you read the book of the Maccabees, okay, I'll help you out. I have the Bibles of the Apocrypha. And let's see if we can find some passages in here about the temple. There's a problem here, so let me come back and put in the dark. I want Maccabees. Okay, so let's talk about things happening in the temple. I want to find, they will make a temple of Dagon, and Okay. Now you read about the temple, the tabernacle, the priestly tabernacles, building the temple, the altar. And during this time in the book of the Maccabees, let me get back to the real thing, everybody. I'm not showing you it here. But if you read Maccabees, it talks about trying to rebuild the temple. The Lord from the temple. But there's a verse in here that talks about rebuilding the temple. Right, so here you read, the temple was desecrated through the times of Maccabees, then it was destroyed by the Greeks. Right? Here's some information. But in another video, I will get more concrete information. The temple that was built by during the time of Darius, when the Sambat and Tobias was in the faith, was destroyed between the Grecian Empire and the Roman Empire. Herod rebuilt or repaired, whatever you want to call it, the temple. And it was called the Herod's temple, which would be third temple. And they said that the outer court was larger than Darius' temple. That's three temples. The one Solomon built, the one under Darius, and the one under Herod. So where is third temple going to be built? Every third temple has already been built. So that's the first thing that your false prophet saying about the third temple was already built and destroyed in 39 or 60 something AD, when the Romans completely obliterated the third temple. The books of the Maccabees. And why we reject the books of the Maccabees is that Oliver Cromwell took out the books of the Maccabees out of the original King James Bible, the 1611, because it was a book of war. It was a book being used. It was a book being used by him himself to fight against Charles the First and overthrow him. All right. So here we have the table of contents for the 1611 King James Bible, and I'm gonna make it a little bigger for you. And in between here, you have the books of the Apocrypha. Here's the 1740 King James Bible, and the Apocrypha has been taken out. Here is the 1611 King James Bible. Let me give you the proof it's the original 1611. The Holy Bible King James Version. The original 1611 Bible. It has in the books of the Maccabees in it. I'll show it to you. I want to view it single page, right? I have a much prettier version and a facsimile, but I can't find it right now. And I am going to say, so here we have the books of the Apocrypha. We have the Old Testament. The Old Testament, you can see Genesis, GE, it's got big G, down to Malachi, and then we got Extras, then we got Matthew, and then the first verse in every chapter have this prophecy in it. And then we got the 1741 that does not have the Apocrypha. And again, the first letter in each verse chapter is not enlarged. So Oliver Cromwell took out the books of the books from the Maccabee books and the Apocryphal books out of the 1740 Bible, due to the fact that the Maccabees, you read the books of the Maccabees, it teaches you how to do war and battle against the Greeks. And he used the information from the books of the Maccabees to overthrow it's either Charles the First or Edward the First, one of those kings, beheading him and his wife on London Bridge. But he was able to, Charles the First was able to sneak his son over to France since his wife was of French descent, and they felt that England don't need to be ruled by a king, and it should be ruled by a parliament, and that's how we get Westminster government. Those books, the historical readings of the Maccabees, is important to understand the four Gospels. It's important to understand the book of Revelation as well as the book of Enoch. The book of Enoch makes a lot of things in Revelation clear. A lot of things in Revelation have to be figurative. Revelation is a coded book. Where it has to be coded. And people don't sit down. The Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. And a lot of us has not been free from mental slavery. A lot of us in the church are not free from mental slavery. I think you get offended, you are not free. You know why? Because you worship the human being just like you worship a deity, a false god. Hold on. You worship human beings just like you worship a false god, and you take the word sacred, and you take their word as is. You don't challenge it, you don't question it, you don't think you need to have to go to Bible school or to take up books and learn more. You think the Holy Spirit is all it is. God's power and presence was through the Ark of the Covenant in Israel, and he said to them, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. And I'm going to say this people in church. The church is making sport because they want to continue things that were said and not read the Bible properly. A lot of people are still saying, and I know Pastor and yet they say, I'm going to show you. A lot of people are still saying, God gave Adam the command. So let me correct that first. Right? God gave Adam the command in Genesis chapter 2. So let's go to Genesis chapter 2. See Ethiopia there? The whole lot of Ethiopia there in Genesis chapter 2. Alright. So you will know where Gary Eden is of part of where Israel is. River Euphrates. And we say, oh, God give the man the command. That devil doctrine. He said, oh, you tree of knowledge you're going to eat, but thou shalt not eat. He said that every tree of the garden thou may eat freely. So he told the man, and I will tell the man what to eat and what not to eat. Then the woman came. So you ought to say that he didn't tell the woman what to eat or not to eat. So let me go back to Genesis chapter 1. So first thing he did in Corinthians 27, he made the man and the woman. He made the man, then he made the woman. Right? Then he blessed them. And he gave them instructions. He gave them instructions. Me and an apostle fall up because of this, but this is what the Bible is saying to you. He gave them instruction. To tell them to do something is an instruction. To be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth is an instruction. And to do it is an instruction. And to rule or have domain over everything on the earth is an instruction. But here's what he also tells them. In verse 29, you gotta read the Bible properly. And behold, and God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat, for food. Right? It is written in front of you to read. Just hold on a bit. Let's see if we can put it across. But it's there. You can pause the video and read Genesis chapter 1, verse 29. So this story that the command was given to Adam, and Adam tell the woman, is a lie. You have to reconcile. You know, Genesis don't reconcile either. You don't reconcile scripture. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yes, this verse, you don't reconcile. So, you read in Genesis chapter 2 more details of the 6th day. And there's information left out because they didn't need the information in there because the information is already in chapter 1. So if it's since in chapter 1, why do I need to repeat it in chapter 2? I didn't repeat it in chapter 2. All I talk about is the baby man first. I tell you about the tree, then I met the woman. But in Genesis chapter 1, it tells you, but it tells the woman, all the trees in the garden you can eat, and what not to eat. So that's why in Genesis chapter 3, the woman said, we may eat. Right? God said to her, because in Genesis chapter 1, God did tell her what to eat and what not to eat. So I reconcile chapter 1, chapter 2. So now I'm going to look at Genesis. I want to look at Revelation chapter 11. Let's look at Revelation chapter 11 now. I'm going to look for the white horse, right? Or 19. Sorry. My apology. Revelation chapter 19. And behold, and I saw heaven open, and behold a white horse. And he sat upon him called faithful and true. Okay, this is not the one I want. Okay, that's not the one I want. Just hold a minute. My apologies. We're looking at Revelation chapter 6. They saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and they heard it, and it was a noise of thunder, and one of 4 beasts saying, come and see. And I saw, behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast saying, come and see. And there went out another horse, and that was red, and power was given unto him that sat thereof and take place from the earth, and that they shall kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. And so we got the 4 horses. Alright, let me talk about Revelation chapter 6. And I'm gonna share something that can blow you all out of your water. God is who open the seals. Jesus is who open the seals. And these things come out after you open the seals. There's a devil in this. Do you think that God will put in a book what Satan's going to do to such detail, and Satan don't read it and make a change of plans? Look, let me say this to you all, right? Anytime you open the King James Bible, this is Hatchet Bible, I proved that to you just now, and God says something can happen, God is doing it. The only person in existence that says something happens and it happens is God. Why? Because the devil is an entity that can change his mind. Evil spirits are entities that can change their minds, and we can change our mind. So if God reveals to my wife I can do something wrong tomorrow, and I know that my wife knows I can do something tomorrow, I can change my mind. Some Christians will say, oh, God is using that as a way to make me change my mind. Sure, I can accept that. But when you read in Revelation, God doing everything. Everything you read in Revelation, God is doing. Oh Lord, how mercy. God told John around AD 60 or something around there, and he wrote it in a book called the Book of Revelation. And he talked about these things that happen. And we keep saying it's the devil. I keep saying it's God because the only body who could open these seals, you see seals there, the lamb is who opened the seal. So if the lamb opened the seal, then God has to be doing these things. Because the lamb opened the seals. The devil ain't open the seals. The devil ain't caused these things to happen. God caused these things to happen. Because God, the lamb, opened the seals. Look at this one right there, look. Alright, let me give it a revelation from God. God created Lucifer, a cherubim. The most beautiful cherubim, the best singing voice. Knowing full well that he was capable of wanting to be in his place. Knowing full well that he had the ability to influence a third of heaven to join with him. God created Satan with all that ability. God created it all. God didn't create him to do what he did. God created with the ability to do what he did. Knowing that he could do what he did. And had a solution to deal with him when he did it. God then set him down to earth. That's why the earth became without form and void. The hills melt like wax at the presence of the Lord. Let me explain it then. Anytime you have a lava flow, it destroys everything. Every growing thing. And the land looks desolate. Like if nothing existed on it. And that's how the world looked when God sent the demons to the earth. Destroy the whole existing earth. Sink it underwater. The earth became with no form and void of all life forms on it. Okay. And then God recreated life on it, called back life on it, formed the animals that could grow and everything, and put us to dominate over the devil. And I explain to people, the devil never tricked Adam and Eve because in order to pick the fruit, you have you out there a little bit. In order to pick the fruit, the woman will have to be by the tree, near the tree, around the tree, arm's length from the tree to pick something off of a tree. If you want a mango from a mango tree, you don't put out your hand a tree all the way 100 meters from you. You got to be next to the tree to be able to put your hand on the mango tree and pick a mango. For my friends in the States, to pick an apple off an apple tree, you got to be by the apple tree. So you can reach out and pick an apple. Because Eve reached out and picked an apple. So where was Eve when she was talking to the serpent? And where was Adam when he was talking to Eve? By the tree. Going to pick it. But get stopped by the devil or the serpent. Was stopped by the serpent through a conversation. And decided even after the serpent thought to pick the fruit. But how do we handle this verse? It's real simple, you know. When man ate the fruit of knowledge of good and evil, they had the ability to lie. Before they ate the fruit, They did not understand what lying was. But when they ate the fruit, they had the ability to lie. Eve was lying to God. The serpent tricked me and I eat. How did you mean to trick you? You was by a tree. You and Adam was by a tree. And the serpent come and talk to you and tell you, God know that you become, you think you know what good and evil is, and you be like him. Which is true. Right. There's part, and behold, the man is become as one of us, know to know good and know evil. Look at that verse. No, the translators put as gods. But if we look at the Hebrew for this, it's Elohim. Plural singular. Plural singular means that we is the group. Us is a group. Us is more than one. Us is a word for a group. We is a word for a group. Team is a word for a group. So the translator put the word God there, but it should be God, as God. No one get an even, because God said further down that man had become as one of us. So Satan told her the truth of the lie. The lie is, you should not die. And they knew that the tree of life was present and you could eat the tree of life and continue to live. But what was the problem with Adam and Eve when they ate the fruit? They were deceived. What was the problem with Adam and Eve when they ate the fruit? They did not expect that would cause them to react the way they did. And the eyes were both open, and they do not know, and they swore fig leaves and made themselves aprons. So wait, all of a sudden, you ate this fruit, and you eat this fruit, you know he doesn't recognize you naked. But you're naked all the time. How we know they were naked all the time? They were not ashamed of their nakedness. They were naked all the time. All of a sudden you eat this fruit, and you recognize you was able, and you hiding your nakedness. Alright. Something that don't sound right, but I can tell you, I can give you the real picture. Sometimes, let me give you an example. Yeah. Eat something bitter. Bajans, eat a spoonful of olives. My God, you whole luck can change, your body can change, your mind can change, everything, but you can change. You go and eat olives or drink something bitter. Your whole dispensation can taste. Eat something tasting bad. They did not expect that this will happen to them, this reaction, this physical reaction would happen to them when they ate the fruit. They thought it would be okay, and we'll walk over to the tree of knowledge and eat that fruit life. Tree of life, eat the fruit and continue living. But God did not desire man to live in that state. Alright? So let me get this whole thing about Genesis sorted out. God spoke to them in Genesis chapter 1 on what to eat and what not to eat. Genesis chapter 2 just clarify what happened on the 6th day. And Genesis chapter 3 is the proof that Eve received instructions from God. And I have shown you from the passage, you can't reach out and pick the fruit unless you was by the tree. So Adam and Eve was by the tree contemplating what to do when the serpent come and speak to them. Eve was not deceived because Eve was already thinking about picking this fruit. But coming like God is the thing that helped her to make the decision to pick the fruit. You already was looking to pick this fruit. Alright? Predestination, as they call it. God already saw that there's somewhere down the road that these beings can do this thing. Alright. So let me talk about Revelation chapter 6. Alright? Let's talk about Revelation chapter 6. I ain't rambling all over the place. I'll be like a public preacher. God is going to cause confusion between countries and cause them to go to war. God does that. We've been so brainwashed about the God that we serve, and He's this loving and kind God. He's not a God of evil. Oh dear me, let me open another window. Right? That we don't really get to see. We get to see the slave master's God. Right? So I can help you all to see some things here that you all can see. Let's go with this first, right? And the Lord repent evil that He would have do to His people. That's one evil, right? There's somewhere He talks to one of the prophets, and He says that He created good and evil. I want to find it. Let's see, Ezra, Nehemiah. Alright, just hold on a minute. Alright, so let's read the scripture verse here again. I can blow it out of the I formed the light, I created darkness. I made peace, I create and create evil. I am the Lord that do all these things. I formed the light, and I create darkness. I made peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Let's see. I created the fruit for the lips. Peace, peace unto Him. For behold, I created a new heaven and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into my mind. Right? But I want you to look at this verse. Not this verse. This is something about it. This verse. I formed the light and created darkness. I made peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So when I say to you, the things in the book of Revelations is being done by God, the only person that could open up the seal is God Himself through His Son, Jesus Christ. And the Lamb opened the seal, and havoc start upon the earth. So now I am going to go through the 4 horses mean. The first horse is the white horse. And the white horse motivate kings and emperors to overtake nations. Because it says, conquer it and to conquer. So when you start to go by other nations and conquer them, you can destroy the buildings, you can destroy the fields, the water, and get polluted, all these sort of things, right? Then, so that first is how we start war. So when Putin went into Ukraine, I do not believe the story I hear from press. So I can say when he went in, not when he invaded, when he went in. I don't think he invaded, I think he went in. So that's the white horse going in and want to take control of Ukraine. And when you open you heard the second beast say, come and see a man. There were out another horse that was red, and Paul was getting on him. They just that he should take peace from the earth, and they shall kill one another, and they shall give unto him a great sword. So then, one stir up a nation to fight. They start the fight when people begin to get killed. That will happen, right? So then you're dropping bombs, you're killing people, and Ukraine soldiers getting killed, Russian soldiers getting killed. And they're in a peace. Right? Then the third seal, he got a prayer of balances in his hand. Justice, law, and justice, making a judgment. Right? Right? And therefore, we got people making judgment. Oh, Putin and Russia acts of crime against humanity. So then, George W. Bush went into Iraq and overthrew that government. It was an act of war against humanity, right? Good. And then the fourth beast talks about inflation, the suffering. There ain't much food to eat, right? Because the fourth horse, the third horse, talks about lack of food. We call it famine. In the famine, lack of food, little food, scarcity, supply and demand. So when there's a small supply, the cost going, you want it, you eat it. And then the fourth horse, the dark horse, the pale horse, death, sickness, and disease. So this is the four things of war. Somebody gotta get encouraged to go to war. They're going to war for some unknown reason. They start to obliterate the whole place, destroy crops, destroy places where people get food, cause it just starves to death. It makes it easier. Then famine hit the place, scarcity of resources to live. Don't money, so don't hit the oil and the wine. But things like water and food to eat, barley and penny and wheat are basic staples. You can't get them. You hear about humanitarian aid and these people claim to be carrying food to help these people. People flee to other countries because things are better down there, refugees. And then death. So then, who ain't yet to run another country and then got the food and start to death? The injured can die because of injuries, because they get disease. You can't drink the water, you can't eat food, so people can die. That is what we get with the four horsemen. That's all the four horsemen. The cause of war, the actions of war, and the results of war. That's all it is. You think it's something special? You thought it was all of this thing? We gotta let go of the doctrine of the Great Awakening, you know. That's all the four horses is. Everything you got war comes against, that's them four things happen. Go and check it out. When I had World War II, you had soup kitchens in America. People had to line up for food. People come work. People died because of hunger. People died on the battlefield. There are a lot of death and sickness, pollution of water. After the war, you had to rebuild. And now you rebuild, you begin to get to prosperity. And then life begins to get back to a new normal. A different life was different, but the basic things of life, working and living and stuff, came back. Four horsemen. You think it is something like what you hear Charles Darkin, he fake but do. What you hear against Charles Darkin? There was a time in America where they had the Great Awakening. And the Great Awakening, a lot of people use Revelation, the book of Revelation, and prophesied. This can happen, that can happen, this is the book to happen. And all these things that didn't happen. That's one Great Awakening. Next Great Awakening, the modified. And why are the evangelical, Pentecostal, Nazarenes, and them churches still teaching these things? I don't understand why we're still teaching them. If the people that taught them false prophesy, why are you teaching these things? All the four horsemen is the results of war. Conquering, and to conquer is I feel like better than you and I'm bigger than you and I gotta take you over. We going to war. The second horse, the red horse, it take the peace. So the normal everyday people can't be peaceful. You're gonna be living and here say wrinkle down on it, the get the bunk because you drop bombs man, you get killed. You're living in fear. You don't have no peace. And people killing one another. That's acts of war. And the third beast talking about the lack of food and the cost of food going high. And the only thing that don't get destroyed is oil and wine. And you open the fourth seal and it came the pale beast. And the pale beast is just there. And you kill with the sword. That means get a war. You don't shoot somebody shoot you. You die. And you hunger. You die from hunger. And you die by the sword. You die from you either get killed, or you die from the results of injuries of war, or you die of hunger. All of that is war. What are you looking for? That is the history of this world. But you're all still in this fallacy that these things is supposed to happen. And they ain't happen yet. But we're going to jump on a bandwagon about Euphrates River. So let me bring up my little thing. I have a video about Euphrates River. And let me see if we can find the picture. Because I had Euphrates River in that thing. Just hold on. Alright, so let me talk about the Euphrates River and get that prophecy sorted out. That's stuff.
Growth and prosperity. Today, it's the second largest city with over 4 million people.
Alright, so I'm going to talk about the Euphrates River. And the Euphrates River and how everybody is false prophesying about. Yes, everybody is false prophesying and trying to say Christ come in because Euphrates River driver and an army is going across. So let me bring up the whole issue about Euphrates River. Let's listen to it.
Most important waterways in the Middle East. It's a crisis that's been looming over Iraq for decades. The country is running out of water, and that's because it neither controls the flow of its rivers or has the infrastructure to clean it. And it's standing in the way of Iraq's recovery.
The waters of the two great rivers, Tigris and Euphrates, are indeed the waters of life.
Almost all of Iraq's water comes from two rivers, the Euphrates and the Tigris, which run down most of the country, then converge here to form the Shatt al-Arab, before emptying into the Persian Gulf. Along the way, these rivers provide drinking water to these cities and irrigate farms and marshlands here. The rest of the country is mostly desert. A vast network of infrastructure is used to generate power, distribute the water, and clean it. That
Hear from the commentator about Euphrates River that is controlled, it's clean, about drinking water, it's controlled. Alright, let's continue.
includes dams, canals, and water treatment facilities. But this system is delicate. Anything that affects the amount of water flowing down these rivers or the infrastructure around it can have massive consequences. Over the last few decades, both have taken a hit. Iraq relies heavily on these rivers, but it doesn't control them. Both rivers begin in Turkey. About 71% of Iraq's water comes from there, while
71% of the water that feed the Tigris and Euphrates River comes from Turkey. Turkey. Let's listen on.
Syria and Iran add another 10% as the rivers move south, which means 81% of Iraq's water is controlled by its neighbors. And they've been keeping more and more of it for themselves. Since the 1970s, Turkey has built at least 20 dams on the Euphrates and the tributaries that feed it, including the Ataturk Dam, the 5th largest in the world, which provides electricity and water to its growing population. Syria has built several dams too. Both countries are holding the river hostage. Today, only a quarter of the Euphrates' normal flow reaches Iraq. The same thing is happening on the Tigris. Turkey is building a number of dams here, including the Elisu Dam. When it was close to completion in 2018, it blocked so much water that residents all the way down in Baghdad could cross the Tigris by foot. To make matters worse, many of the tributaries that feed the Tigris begin in Iran. And there, they've built 600 dams in the last 30 years, and dozens are under construction. All of this means that Iraq, the furthest country downstream, isn't getting enough water. There's less to drink, irrigate crops, and generate electricity. It also means the rivers are more contaminated. At a normal flow, water can dilute a lot of the toxins and sewage that gets dumped into the river. But when levels are low, these pollutants become more potent. Plus, the weaker flow allows salt water to move upstream from the Persian Gulf, which kills fish and crops. All of this puts more pressure on Iraq's infrastructure to distribute and clean the water. The problem is, much of this infrastructure has been destroyed, and Iraq hasn't been able to rebuild it. There have been 3 devastating wars in Iraq.
You don't need to know about the wars in Iraq. I think the video explains everything to you that I have been saying is my main thing. So I'm going to talk to you because I'm still dealing with Revelation chapter 6. I'm going to talk to you clearly and fairly. No. We have built massive bridges across rivers. There are bridges across the Euphrates rivers. I was showing it earlier. Let's see if we still have it here. If I still have them here. I'm gonna find it. I want you to watch this video. Just watch the video, listen to the comment, and watch this vehicle. Watch these vehicles. Let me ask you a question. I want to ask you a question. These are vehicles are to ask you a question. That's only the tanks. All right. So, them are just a small vehicles, right? Let's see if we can find some bigger ones. There are bigger ones that the Russians got. Let's see. Again, let's let you see. There's this. Yes, this. There's this. And I guarantee that there are much bigger vessels than these that can carry 100 troops across a river. So I'm gonna ask you a question because I want to appeal to what we call in Bayesian term common sense. God said people lack wisdom. Let him ask of God. I ask God for wisdom. I ask God for understanding. Use the wisdom, understanding. The technology that the armies of the world have, they do not have to wait for the Euphrates River to dry up to get across it at any time in the last 150 years because they already had equipment to get across the river in the water used Euphrates and invade Israel. I can make it even worse for you. Ships and all sorts of things left the US and invade Germany. They went across that. And what I'm trying to tell people is the book of Revelation is a coded book. Why is it coded? And when you can understand it's coded, I want to explain it to you. You cannot be locked up in a Roman jail because some of you are always listening to what people say. And I pray that you are going to be emancipated from the anguish of mental slavery. People tell you the books of Maccabees are good, they have me canonized. That is rubbish. In my videos, I've showed you that the books of the Maccabees were in fact canonized. Or they're canonized books. I'm going to show you. Open this one. Open this one. Here is the a facsimile, a photo facsimile, black simile of the King James 1611 Bible. For those who don't think it is the authentic thing, I can show you the authentic thing. And yes, I've seen one of these when I was 18 years old by a man named Mr. Garner who lived in 2nd Avenue, the real, as I said, the real McCoy. The translation message, the real McCoy, because what we got using is not the 16. Here it is, the Holy Bible, and this was done in 1611. This is 1611 version. This is the 1611 version. This is the one that came out. It has the books of the Apocrypha. They were canonized. But then in the 1740 revision does not have a thing. Why does it? Again, I give the story of a man by the name of Robert Cromwell and what he did in England, and they were taken out. And he gave the story that they were not canonized books, and tell somebody who wasn't there and know the truth. Children, he was there and know the truth. I present facts to you, pictures to you. If you read the 1st and 2nd Maccabees and understand what happened, then you will know when you read in Matthew chapter 1 why Herod and all of Israel were fearful, because the Jewish people, as we like to call them, always get a group of men to rise up and fight against for the recent occupation and the Roman occupation. So imagine you're in prison and you send a book telling people that the Roman Empire can be overthrown, and this is how you're going to be overthrown. And the guard who taking your letter to carry, to get the limit to who you're going to let to read your letter, and it's talking about overthrowing the Roman government. Sit down and think. One, the church or whoever sent to the devil get that letter, and two, you're going to be tortured and executed more. You encouraging men outside of this prison to rise up against the Roman Empire. So you have to code it in such a way that when they're reading the 4 horsemen, a warm up on a horse could come against the Roman army. To the foolish, the things of God must look like foolishness to those who think that they are wise. Right? So let me reiterate myself again. There is no need. You could fly people across the big massive jet that we see per CNN. I like to show everybody pictures. Let me see if I can get a picture. I want that picture, yeah, that plain picture, one plain picture. I want that plain picture, I want to find that picture. Yeah, I want to find a picture. Let me see what it is. Alright, let's watch some of this stuff here. I thought I had a picture here. Alright, let me go back and see if we can find a picture. One picture inside this thing. Okay, you can see this picture here. Who I've been back a bit from Sudan. Right? Can you see again? I think you can see inside this picture. Let's make it a little bigger. This picture here. This picture here. Let me snip it. Alright. Let's make it a little bigger. This is inside a plane. A military plane. Which can land and drop off soldiers. This is inside the plane evacuating people from Iraq, from Sudan, and Afghanistan. Right? So, we got this sort of technology today that I ain't got to walk across the Euphrates River. I could fly across with a massive plane with 700 people each in them and deploy an army of 200,000 people quick. I got boats that could go across the river, tanks that could drive in sea. I'll show you all of the technology. So, you don't need Euphrates River dry up, the armies get across the Euphrates River to get to Israel. And there are bridges too across these rivers. So, you must understand that some information is a code because it must be to the normal person unreadable, understandable, sound like foolishness. A warm man with a horse with a sword can kill all these people. Nah. That can't work in the Roman Empire. But Revelation chapter 6 talks about what was talked about in Matthew 24. Everything that you read here that's happening in those blue writing happened here. It was repeated here. Everything you read in Matthew 24 is repeated in Revelation chapter 6. Oh, it's a book of prophecy. The book of Revelations covers things in the past, things during the time of Jesus, just before the time of Jesus, just after Jesus ascended, before every time, and every time, and things to happen. Hardly things. The one real thing that happened is the fourth temple of the New Jerusalem coming down. All right. Let me ask you a question, right? You can grow your food. Who controls the water? You can catch rainwater and grow your own food. Do you think you can catch enough rainwater to meet your modern needs and to cook with? And you can get enough material to cover with a stove? You can live like that this day? No. So when we talking about you can't buy and sell, okay, Mark. If you want to buy food, you gotta go trading currency. Well, again, it don't make no sense to say you can't buy or sell out a mark. Because who you buying from gotta be a part of the system of selling. But the mark of the beast, I was trying to find the verse in Deuteronomy that talks about marking the laws and the stuff upon your forehead and your hand to parallel the two. I couldn't find the passage. But there's a passage in Deuteronomy that talks about writing upon your forehead or putting a box upon your forehead with the laws in it to keep it on your mind. And there are things you must mark upon your hand to help you to remember who you are and who you worship. And the enemy is going to do something similar, right? And of course, people are dead and that sort of thing. But you still got to be careful with the prophecy because you are teaching, you who teaching the mainstream revelation. And that's the problem. We feel because it is mainstream and majority of churches say that it's correct. We came out of a false religion and we are still practicing and teaching things from that false religion. The false religion created through the 300 AD by the Roman Empire. We are still practicing things of that church. We are still giving wafers and a little shot glass of grape juice as communion. That was never what Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. If you're hungry, stand home and eat. It was a festive meal. And at the time of the meal, you take a piece of bread with bitter herbs, and it says in times of old, this will remember you of the bitterness of what we went through as a people in Egypt. This is a reminder of what Christ went through with his body for our sin. You eat it, and as you eat the unleavened bread with bitter herbs, you remember the bitterness of your sin, and then you drink the wine. And then continue with the feast. That is why in 1 Corinthians, is it 11? For I received, it says here, we can get to eat, wait for one another. If anybody hungry, let him eat at home. Yet he come not together under condemnation. So it is a meal. There's a meal. The first day was a meal. You took a lamb. You take a lamb for our house, one lamb. If the house is too little for a lamb, let him and his neighbors next under his house take it according to the number of souls and right. So you want to share. Take a lamb. Don't damage a male first year. Take it from the sheep and from the goats. It could be a sheep or a goat 1 year old. Keep it until the 14th day, the same month, and the whole assembly congregation of Israel shall kill it the evening, and shall take the blood and sprinkle it on the two sides of the post upon the doorpost of the thing, and it shall eat the flesh of the night, roast with fire, unleavened bread and bitter herbs shall eat it. So it's actually a meal. It's a meal you're having. So this little thing we got in church with a little sipper fire, it's a meal. Let me show you what the first Passover. And let me go back to 1 Corinthians 11. He says here, when you come together to eat, ask yourself a real question though. When we take communion, that's how to eat. A little wafer, and say that's how to eat. Man, it's a meal, man. It's a meal. When you can get to eat, wait for one another. Tarry means to wait, look. To receive, accept, to look for, accept, wait for, or wait. Wait for the body, tarry for one another. Do not come to eat this meal to fill your belly. Eat home first and then come. Right? Alright? So it is a feast. For eating, everyone taketh before others of his own supper. One is hungry, other is drunken. So it is a food. We call food and fellowship. It's a food and fellowship thing. If you read the whole first, it's talking about how being done houses to eat and to drinking. It's a meal. Everybody bring some lamb, some bread, some bitter herb, and some wine. And we put it there, and then those who can't afford to be there, everybody will get a little bit in the plate to eat, and then you will do the body and the blood, and then go back eating. Right? 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 Because it's a meal. It's a meal. It's a meal. Let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. Right? May I say above you. When ye come together to eat, tarry one for another, wait for each other to eat, not to take a little bread. So I went through that with you. Again, we are being taught certain things that when you bring these things, people get vexed. Well, I'm glad you're offended, but the real issue is that if you want to understand what's in Revelation chapter 6, you must understand Matthew chapter 24. And I can say this. And many forefathers shall rise and shall deceive many. All of them, a red heifer walked through Israel, the constructed the third temple, but the temple was destroyed by the Greeks. And the Maccabees started to rebuild it, and Herod built it, and said that Herod's temple was bigger. So why about the place prophesied the third temple when the third temple was built and was destroyed? Herod's temple. My problem with church folks, some church folks, when I don't take the time and read your Bible properly, and when I start to share with you, you act indifferent and say, Chulai knows a lot about the Bible. You cannot teach the Bible if you don't know what's in it, the truth behind it, how it put together, all the issues that happen when it put together, what part the Catholic Church and Freemasons out of the world are rolling in it, how despite it is a hatchet Bible, King James, it can be used to reveal God to you. But we don't want these truths. We want to continue folly and celebrate Christmas and Astra and say you celebrate the birth of Christ and the resurrection of Christ. Where Astra is the god, or Easter is the god of fertility, and the birth of the Son is December 25th. And pastors know it wrong, but telling its members to put Christ in Christmas. Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to eat what's offered to the idols. Refused to do certain things that all he felt their fellow cousins, all the prince were doing because they wanted to keep faithful to God. But you all want to follow what the majority doing, a little bit right or wrong. You all want Pharisees. To my subscribers, I'm not speaking to you. I speak to some other people because over 300 people I send this here to. I know there's some that there are a very small few who are offended at what I know hearing now. You don't need the Euphrates River to dry it to cross it. They got an army across it. You don't need even the bridges across the Euphrates River. You got boats that can cross rivers, tanks that can cross rivers, planes can fly across rivers. We are technology advanced. We don't need the river to be dried up. And if we want to, we could drag the river, build a dam across it. So nothing is stopping the devil and mankind. But as I said earlier, who opened the seals? Who opened the seals? Jesus Christ. And when opened the seals, these things happen? Yes. Who is responsible for them happening? God himself. When you read in the book of Revelation, God is doing. Some things have happened before, something in here and nothing to do with. But you see, we read in Revelation chapter 6. You see what you read in Revelation chapter 6? You see what you are reading in Revelation chapter 6? After the Lamb open one seal, all these things start to happen. And you open the second seal, then this thing happened. God instigated people to fight against one another here. But he's the loving God. If the seals don't open, this thing can happen. The devil is opening the seals. The devil is opening the seals. Y'all gotta read the Bible properly. Who is able? Look, who open the seals here, look. Who opening the seals? Worthy is the Lamb that slain and received power and riches and wisdom and strength, honor and glory and blessing. God himself is doing some of these things in Revelation. He's doing everything in Revelation chapter 6. Because he opened the seals. God bless you in Jesus' name. Thank you for listening to me this evening. For you who offended at me, I thank you for listening to me. Where is my information? Where is my information? Do I have my information slide here? Oh yes. Here is my contact. Who offended? Call me. Give me a call. I've been on vacation. I can talk long. Give me a call and we can go through the Bible together, right? And we can disagree and agree. When I done, I can convince you. Because if the Lamb opening the seals, then God doing this thing. I also want to show you the Greener Pasture Industry International t-shirt. This is the first. I'm going to get one done on the back with the polo shirt. This is the first prototype. It was done by JG Printeries in Barbados. I have to get myself a polo shirt and get him to do the polo shirt for me. So when I'm visiting churches, they can see where we're restoring souls and leading them in the path of righteousness. As I said earlier today, I'm getting a new background song done by my son, Brother Abraham Searles. We are going to do the entrance with the same logos, but a little different because we want to do a change. God has been speaking to my heart, and my heart desire for us who are listening to my videos to come and to have meetings. I have to organize that. It will not be done August, September. But in the coming new year, sometime in February or March, I'm looking to have a special service. There's a possibility if we at 3W's Pavilion. We want to start at 5 o'clock. And we're going to go to 7 o'clock, but I will give you more information on that as that develops, so that we can have, we can actually meet, have a discussion. We're going to have a worship service, and we're going to have a panel discussion on scriptures and come to share. But no, you should be able to see my videos and learn and be strengthened. Thank you very much. May the good Lord bless and keep you. May His face shine upon you and give you peace now forevermore. Amen.